Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Board of Selectmen Select Board meeting for February 9th, 2026. I'd just like to take a roll call of members present, starting this way.
Gary DePalma, present.
Lilia Maselli.
Frank West.
Jacob Aguirre, present.
And Kyra.
So I see all members present. Would you like to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. I'd just like to announce that we just returned from an executive session pertinent to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 22A7, to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant in aid requirements for the purpose of reviewing and considering release of executive session minutes from March 25th, 2024, April 10th, 2024, and December 8th, 2025, and for the purpose of discussing strategies with respect to litigation by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts due to the MBTA zoning legislature in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3. So that said, I'd like to, is there a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable, warrants out of session?
So moved. Second.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay. Appointments, 7 o'clock, Elizabeth Lawrenson, Town Clerk. We got
approval of minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Approval of minutes of January 27th, 2026. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor? Skyra?
I'll abstain.
Okay, four up, one abstain. Okay, sorry about that. Now, 7 o'clock appointment, Elizabeth Lawrenson, Town Clerk, regarding 2026 elections. Welcome.
So, as you're familiar, I come before you every year to prepare for the election year. There's several votes I need to have taken in order to comply with the law. The first one is the election worker list. I usually hire more than I need because a lot of them can't make certain times of the year due to family obligations or other obligations of things that they're involved with. So it is a long list, but it's needed, especially when we have state elections. We have a state primary in September, and we have the state election in November. So I usually need more rather than less. The other thing I need to have you vote to give permission to Chief Pupa in order to give him the authority to assign details according to state law, state election law. It's the select board's responsibility to assign details. I always ask for this to be given to him because of contractual reasons. It's easier for him to maintain overtime and manage the extra work that police officers do. So then I do that one for the year. The election workers and the chiefs giving him authority is for the entire year, election year of 2026. I also need, we're going to be moving the precincts from the old town hall to the new town hall. So I need permission from the select board in order to do that as well. It's precincts 4, 5, and 6. I'm keeping 1, 2, and 3 at the new senior center. I will be having an extra detail officer working on the primary only to monitor the parking lot and ensure that it goes smoothly. I'll be working with the high school in order to get permission to have no student parking on the day of a state primary or state election, which would be a Tuesday, which more often is a school day. It's not a day off for them. Okay. And the last thing I need you to vote on is I would like, again, to do in-person early voting. We've done it in the last ballot question election, excuse me. I think it's important to encourage voter turnout, and I'm doing it during regular business hours. However, we're now open till 7 on Tuesdays. It gives them after work hours. I don't think it's necessary to work on a Saturday. It will be, I have the schedule here, it's going to be the 13th through the 17th. Doing it that way because of state law. They ask that you stop so many days before, and you cannot start it so many days. I believe it's 17 days before the election is the latest you can start in-person early voting. So I chose that week. It gives us the following week to prepare for the actual election and process the ballots with advanced processing. And that's it. There's four votes before you. However you want to do them.
Any discussion amongst the board? Okay, so I guess we did, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the list of election workers and to give Chief Paba the responsibility of assigning details to the polling precincts and moving precincts 4, 5, and 6 from 121 Glen Road to 146 Middlesex Ave and the early voting calendar.
Okay.
Second.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
Yes, question. Beth, have you figured out where the precinct 4, 5, and 6 will be located here for people to vote? Will it be in this room or the other room?
Large meeting.
Large room,
Yes.
all 3 precincts in
Yes,
one room?
that's how I handle it at the senior center, and it works really well.
Okay.
It's a similar-sized room. They come in and they come out the same door.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, if we have a motion, it's been second, all in favor? Thank you very much. And
Thank you
as
for your
always,
time this evening.
Thank you.
as always, thanks for
Thank you.
all the work that you guys, everyone does with the election workers to make our voting such a success in Wilmington. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, 7:30 appointment, actually a little early, so.
Yeah, so then we can go on
He's
to
here.
the,
So we do communications and then come back to it at 7:30?
yeah, because it's a public hearing, we
Alright.
can't start it early.
That's right. Well, that's fine.
So here to do communications, Mr. Manager.
Yes. So, communications we have. First communication, a memorandum from the town manager regarding the warrant articles by petition. You'll note that you have before you a memo with 6 warrant articles. These were all by petition to the clerk's office. As noted, this was as of noon on February 6, 2026. People are allowed to submit additional warrant articles before 5 p.m., and we did get one extra warrant article that came in after hours. It was the one from the Wilmington, yeah, so the farmer's market. Yeah,
Farmers
sorry.
market.
The farmer's market that they had spoken to us about that we anticipated coming in. So it was the request for $7,500 for the farmer's market. That was the 7th one that came in.
You want to read these ones? we
Sure,
know
so I can read I'll read the, kind of the general description of them. There's a request for replacement of a monument by, for Stephen Scanlon, who recently passed away. That's the first petition. The second petition is a petition to name the Wilmington High School Athletic Hall of Fame in honor of Jack Cushing. The third is a resolution on a prohibited plant list. That's a specific list of plants that this individual would like to have prohibited in town. The third is an appropriation of funds from free cash for feasibility to study for a Wilmington community garden of $50,000. Then there's an request to amend the inhabitant bylaw by adding a right to farm. And then the sixth one here is an appropriation of funds from free cash reallocation to Wilmington Community Television of $65,000. Those are the 6 that came in. Again, the 7th was the $7,500 for the farmer's market.
Thank you.
The next communication,
One comment on that, like, the community garden, like, I'm okay with that, but like, up to 50 grand, like, what are you spending 50 grand on for feasibility for a community garden? Like, that just seems crazy.
I understand, it does seem like a large sum of money. We are required for petitions.
Oh, I know we have to, I know we have to.
Not just for you, I'm just saying it for the the residents who may not realize it, we have to put petitioned articles in the exact way that they are petitioned. We aren't allowed to amend them if we think, for instance, that money might be too much. So we can't change it, but your comment is taken that that's almost as much money as WCTV is asking
Right.
for.
I would imagine the petitioner would be explaining what they do, what they want, and what the cost of trying to do what they want.
Yeah, the petitioned articles are not read, are presented by any of the select board members.
Right.
They're presented by the petitioners, so they will be petitioning that.
Mr. Sullivan?
I know it's not in this, but have they identified an area, a parcel of land? I didn't notice anything.
I know that I know that there have been several individuals who have come in and asked Jamie Galdi and Valerie Gingrich to discuss various parcels of land with them. I'm not sure which individual this is, so I'm
Okay.
not sure.
More to come, I'm sure.
Through the chair.
Skyra.
I know we had discussions on this when I was the vice chair for the Yentile Recreational Facility. Judy O'Connell was the chairperson. And we discussed a garden, a community garden at that point in time. It didn't materialize, but the spot that we identified was over near the dog park. There's a big plot of land over there that we were going to identify as a community garden. So 50,000 seems a lot.
A lot, yeah.
I think Jen could probably find it, and maybe if you could talk to Judy, maybe I'm mistaken in my memory as to where we decided, but that was one of the many, many items and options that Yentile Recreation Committee went through, and that was one spot we identified, I believe.
Okay. Any further discussion? Moving along.
The second communication is from the Wilmington Historical Commission regarding a public awareness campaign relative to the Ephraim Buck Daniel Eames house at 584 Woburn Street. I know that the information is here. I also know that the chair, Bonnie Smith of the Historical Commission, is here. If there's any questions, this is the third oldest surviving structure in Wilmington, and because of kind of family issues and ownership issues, I think there's some significant concern about us losing the property, and so this is kind of to inform the board and the community at large of a kind of a public awareness campaign that the Historic Commission is going to be putting on regarding the kind of the vintage and the importance of that house to the town.
Does anybody have any questions? I see Ms. Smith is right here. Does anybody have any questions specific, or if you want to
I
just
do.
make a comment?
Yeah, is it currently privately held? Is it owned by a resident?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I looked it up, but it wasn't sold.
not yet.
Yeah.
But they have intent
Like on
of
the North Middlesex.
listing
There's
it
a
as...
family issue that's, I
On the
think,
market.
creating
Got it, okay.
an imminent attempt to sell the property, I believe.
I have a follow-up. And if I'm getting ahead of things, it's fine. But what would how do you stop someone from selling their home? Like, what would be the remediation to try and save the house, I guess is...
Well, so I think that the goal of an outreach campaign like this is to bring the awareness to the folks who may be, be the kind of person who could buy that house and restore it. If it goes on the market, you're making a potential buyer aware, and also any potential buyer aware that it has this level of history. And
Got
so
it.
that it's in the public record, that it has some importance.
Okay, that makes sense, yep.
To the property. But yeah, absent the demolition delay bylaw, which I think is something that is going to be on the, once again in front of town meeting,
Yeah,
I think the Historic Commission is attempting to do a public outreach program to
okay,
try and.
thank you.
Okay, this is also, there's nothing in this pertaining to the town purchasing the property, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Where this is written by Ms. Smith, I don't know if you want to address anything specific. I know we don't normally take public, it's really not a public comment, but as long as we're addressing.
I didn't know if, with your permission, if I could just actually read the letter. Is that appropriate? Could you read the letter? Or
Does anybody have objection?
do you have a problem
Do you want to go to the microphone?
Thank you.
And if you would, just state your name and address for the record.
Bonnie Smith, 30 Marion Street, Chair of the Historical Commission. This is just what the letter says. Dear members of the Board of Selectmen, the Wilmington Historical Commission writes to inform the Board of our intent to begin a public awareness campaign regarding the Ephraim Buck, Daniel Eames house located at 584 Woburn Street. This action is being undertaken in response to a credible threat that this historically significant property may be acquired and demolished by a private developer. Built in 1720, the Ephraim Buck III, by Ephraim Buck III, this home is the third oldest surviving structure in Wilmington, a rare remaining example of the town's earliest period of settlement. It's located within Buck's Corner Historic District, which is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. For nearly 3 centuries, this house has stood as a visible link to the town's founding. The Buck family was among Wilmington's earliest settlers. The property was home to several generations. Ephraim Buck III is also remembered locally as the well-known Legend of Bear Oak story that remains part of Wilmington's folklore. Within recent decades, Wilmington has lost numerous of its earliest homes to redevelop it. Each loss permanently alters the character of our town and removes important pieces of history. Consistent with the Commission's mission to preserve and protect Wilmington's historic resources, the potential demolition of this property represents a critical moment for historic preservation, which necessitates timely public awareness and community support. Accordingly, the Commission intends to launch a public awareness effort to inform residents and stakeholders of the significance of the Ephraim Buck Daniel Eames house and to encourage broad support for this preservation. Our goal is to prevent an irreversible erasure of the essential piece of Wilmington's history and to explore pathways that allow this important resource to be protected for future generations. We look forward to working with the Board of Selectmen as this matter moves forward. We appreciate your continued support for historic preservation and stewardship. Respectfully submitted on behalf of the Historical Commission, my name, Bonnie, and Chair. We have been in contact with one of the principal owners, and she has come in and actually spoken to town manager about what her plans are for future going forward as a community center, and a lot of great ideas for this property. It just would be a shame to see it disappear. Any questions for me?
Any questions, comments? You got it?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, thank you very much, Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, our next communication is a letter from David Bradley, Administrator of the Lowell Regional Transit Authority, regarding membership with the Lowell Regional Transit Authority. This letter did inform us that the board unanimously voted to admit the town of Wilmington as a member of the LRTA. So, subject to our petition for membership, they unanimously accepted us, and now we'll be moving forward with them in partnership to work on that, the bus line, the new bus route that they intend to, bus number 21, I believe it's called, from the Wilmington, Central Wilmington MBTA station down to Leahy Clinic and the Burlington Mall.
Thank you.
The final piece of communication is a letter requesting support from the Board of Selectmen for the article that I mentioned earlier to name the recently constructed Wilmington High School Athletic Hall of Fame display at Wilmington High School in honor of Jack Cushing. This is a letter from Jim Stewart, 16 Stonehenge Drive, Wilmington, Mass. 01887.
And that'll be was one of the petitioned articles at the upcoming town meeting.
Correct.
Okay. Think we're
Any other questions about that? So
close enough? Want to go a little bit more?
we could probably do the one other board to consider.
Okay.
So this is board to consider number 6. A request from Brett Sowen, Recreation Director, to use the town common and gazebo for the summer concert series on Wednesdays, July 8th, July 15th, July 22nd, and July 29th, with rain dates of Thursday, July 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th, respectively, and add an additional rain date of Wednesday, August 5th.
Okay, is there any
Make a motion
discussion
to
on that?
accept.
Motion?
Second.
Ms. Pacelli, any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay,
We should probably, given the bond issuance, we should probably go forward with the public hearing.
okay, so, I'd like to open a public hearing for, where are we here? Rules and regulations about, for alcohol licenses.
So moved?
Okay, is there a second?
And then open up.
Is there a second to open the public hearing?
Second.
Mr. De Palma, all in favor by roll call, I'll go on this side.
Kevin Curry, yes.
Jacob Aguirre, yes?
Frank West, yes?
Lily Maselli, yes.
Gary DePalma, yes.
Okay, public hearing's open. I think we have a member of our Economic Development Committee, our chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening to all of you, and congratulations on this new space. Joe Maselli, 25 North Street, Chair of the Economic Development Committee. I don't really have much more to add aside from our presentation on, I believe it was January 12th. But tonight, and I believe the 23rd as well, I'm happy to entertain any questions from the board members or anybody from the public, any license holders. So I'd like to give my time to anyone who has questions or wants to talk about anything further.
Actually, before we go any further, I'd like to say that we did originally vote to have the public hearing at our next Select Board meeting. It ended up on the schedule here when we published the legal notices, so what we're going to do is we're going to have the public hearing tonight. We will close the public hearing at our next scheduled meeting, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was I think the reason why we voted to schedule it for the 23rd was because that Mr. De Palma was not sure that he was going to make tonight's meeting. He is here tonight, but we did announce it to the public that it was going to be on the 23rd. So given that all of the license holders were notified that tonight was the night of the meeting, we were going to open the public meeting and then continue it until the 23rd, just in case there were folks who decided they were going to show up on the 23rd. That way,
Right.
we make sure to have full participation by anybody who was paying attention at our last meeting.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, did you have anything further, or?
No, Mr. Chair. If anyone has any questions, whether it be from the board or the public, I'm happy to entertain them at this time.
Okay, well, first we'll take comments, questions from the board. Mr. Gilwa?
Yep,
You're look-
good.
Oh, I'm sorry, you looked at that yet.
He's our subject matter expert.
On the committee, so I'm
He knows everything.
Okay. Any other comments from the, Mr.
So,
Scott?
so we're not voting on this tonight?
We're not gonna vote on
it
this.
on the 23rd?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We voted to vote on it on the 23rd.
Do we, I'm in favor of it, but do we have any recommendations from the police, the planning board, the health department? Anything that,
Yes,
You can touch on
so we did talk to all those bodies while we were going through this, and we did run this final version through police and fire. Also asked Shelley from the Board of Health if she had any additions, subtractions, and she gave those to us as well. So yes, we do have the clearance from all those.
okay, so then that brings up another question, because you got some additions and deletions from Shelley. So, is this been changed since you last presented it?
No,
with
nothing's
those
been changed.
deletions and additions?
That was before.
That was before it was
Okay.
presented here.
All right,
Yeah, last version, it was updated end of November. I haven't touched it since.
okay, I misunderstood.
No, all good.
I just want to compliment you. This is something that's long overdue in the town. If you want business, you've got to entice business. And I appreciate it, that you move forward with it. It has been something that I've been having conversations with prior to, and I just support it 100%.
Appreciate it, Mr. De Palma, and thank you for your partnership through all this as well. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And just one more point I'll add, Mr. Chair, is once again, kind of to Mr. Kyra's point, but just speaking in general, as Ms. Sullivan said with me on the 12th, these are merely recommendations, so you can do whatever you want with these rules and regulations. You can really write whatever, but this is our recommendation from the Economic Development Committee. So it's up to you ultimately if you would like to strike anything, make any changes, et cetera.
Any further comments from the manager?
No, I just wanted to provide one additional comment, which is, we, as just a further follow-up, we obtained from the clerk's office the list of all the accepted state statutes and regulations with regards to alcohol consumption, provided them to town council to make sure there wasn't any inconsistencies between what we had been adopted and what was being proposed. And they came back with a note that nothing in what we had accepted would prevent the select board from adopting the regulations as they were presented.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Just one other thing, before our next meeting, I'd like a letter submitted from the Police Department, Fire Department, and Board of Health, just so it's on record. I don't mean that for any other reason, but let's make sure these are all on record.
Absolutely, we can get that coordinated through us, or if you, Mr. Chair and Mr. Manager, want to coordinate that process.
I can reach out to,
Yeah.
I'll talk to Bev, and she can reach out to those departments and make
Okay.
sure they've.
Yeah, come on.
So just to highlight some of the major changes, one of the biggest changes we're seeing here is for restaurants. We've lowered the seating minimum to have a liquor license, and as I kind of described at our January meeting, we're essentially striking the part of the general service restaurant bylaw in the zoning bylaw, and then the seating minimums are being enforced through these new rules and regulations. So that's one major change. We've made a couple of changes to the hours of operation, specifically allowing for some spaces to have brunch offerings if they'd like as well. We made a lot of the changes we made here as well were just changes for clarification and making sure these read easily, not only to license holders, but members of the public and committee members as well. Just added some safety features as well to also align with the state regulations. And Mr. Gearwar, I don't know if I missed anything significant, but those are some of the bigger ticket
You can
items.
dance now.
You can
right?
dance now.
Have dancing.
Not right now.
Not right now.
If this
but-
passes, you could actually have line dancing at like Code 1 or whatever, right?
Right, because just to clarify that comment, in the current rules and regulations for restaurants that have liquor licenses, you cannot dance. So we've obviously struck that out.
Footloose, right?
Further comments from the board? Mr.
Just-
Selly?
Could you just clarify what the limits were and what they're going to, the seating, or just a change, just in case they
Yeah,
may not know?
absolutely. So the seating minimum was 100 seats for all restaurants, and now for beer and wine licenses, they're 25 seats, and then for all liquor, they're 50. So this is essentially, like I mentioned in January, relatively in line with a lot of our neighboring towns and cities, and just more, I guess, gives more leeway for the smaller spaces in town that would want to have a license, but maybe don't have that seating availability, perhaps.
It was 100, they lowered it to 50.
Any other comments from the board?
I'd just love to see some small restaurants, right? Like little Italian shops, like
Yeah.
higher end, maybe has 20, 50.
I do understand that the state provides service for, to be certified mixologists. I just want to make sure that we're going to let the establishments know. I understand it's a very short course, very low money, but it does certify the bartenders in what to look for and anything for anybody who might be under the weather.
I actually have another question. It might be off topic a little bit. So, you know how some establishments, not in Wilmington, but they're like a BYOB? Does that fall into this? Can a restaurant here in town, how does that work? Or is that not in this at all?
So I believe that for restaurants, let me find this here. I think we were talking about this a little bit, that we're just going to have it be regulated by the state, if I'm
Okay.
correct. Because I think the state law,
I was just curious.
I mean, there's a lot of things in here in general
Yeah.
that where state law already dictates a certain rule, and we don't need
Right.
to repeat it per se. Believe number, let me just look here. Like, you mean bringing to a restaurant?
Yeah, you know, there are restaurants that don't serve, but you can bring your own bottle of wine. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we don't address that here. I believe that, that falls back to
Not
state
asking
law.
for it to be added, I was just curious if it was something, you know, your committee had discussed, or,
Yeah, we definitely discussed it. I guess it was kind of, we left it out.
yeah, I agree with that.
I mean,
was
it's
just
kind
curious.
of like I lived in Somerville, that was the norm, right? Like,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
Cambridge, stuff like that, so I don't know
Right.
if we wanna do
It's
it
not
here,
I don't think it's necessary for this town, I was just
I mean, I think one
curious.
conversation we had was, we're trying to think from an economic development standpoint, how can our restaurants serve more of their product instead
Right.
of consumers bringing in their own product from home?
Right, no, I totally agree. Thank you.
Your number 11 basically says that anyways. No person shall be permitted to consume alcohol beverage on a licensed premise
Right.
that were not sold to the license holder,
Okay.
by the license holder, excuse me.
See, now it's a public hearing. Is there any member of the audience that would like to comment on this proposal? Sir, if you could just state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, this is Sivakumar Malayasamy, 2 Eagle View Drive, Wilmington, Mass. So I don't know whether I think Joe said like this presentation was done, and maybe I was not aware of that. Maybe is there a way to share that presentation, or maybe I can go to the meeting recording and maybe we can see that. And then, I feel that this is a good thing. Like maybe I don't know the full proposal what it is. So from what I'm hearing is probably this is to increase the foot traffic or something, or to increase the traffic in the restaurants or something. So I feel that this is a good thing, but it will be nice to know the full details. So how can I get the details?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and sorry, I'm talking in front of you, but I did make a presentation for the meeting on the 12th. I'd be happy to send that to whoever, because that's essentially what I went over in the meeting. So there's nothing new in that presentation. So any resident can reach out to me, and I'd be happy to provide that. As far as, I think, one other thing I wanted to address in what you just said, I think there are a lot of purposes with why we wanted to address this project. I'd say early 2025, but what we wanted to do is we realized these rules and regulations hadn't been rewritten in almost 50 plus years, and there were just a lot of inconsistencies in the current rules and a lot of ambiguity with some of the rules and regulations when it came to restaurants, the clubs, and the function halls. So it was a multifaceted project for sure, but we also want to kind of stimulate the current businesses in town, but also invite possible new business owners that are not in town and give them an opportunity to grow in Wilmington. So there were definitely a lot of positive factors that came into starting this project. Thank you.
I guess the one thing I'd add to that, just for your sake, is like a lot of it was around like you need an 850 square foot minimum kitchen. And you need 3 entrees with fish and unground beef, if I remember, right?
Yep.
Joe?
So it
Like,
was, 3
very
entrees,
like
unground
random,
meat.
so like you couldn't have a tree house in Tewksbury, right, that serves
Right.
pizza. And so part of it was just making it more available, and then the seating requirements, I'd say those two were probably the biggest changes.
I agree.
Okay.
All positive.
Any other member of the public? Or did you-
No, I was just going to say, so if anybody's looking for that presentation, you can certainly watch the meeting from the 12th, or if you reach out to the manager's office, we can get a copy of that, and we can provide that to anybody who wants, and along with, we'll make sure that we post the draft regulations.
Any other member of the public wants to speak on this? No? I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing until the 23rd.
So moved?
Second,
Okay, all in favor by roll call?
Kevin Curry, yes.
Jacob Gurius?
By question, yes?
Lily Maselli, yes.
Garrett Palmer, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, so the reason, one of the reasons why I paused before the next board to consider, Mr. Chair, is because the vote is over a page long. So with your, if you, I will go ahead and read it, and then somebody can just yell out, "So moved."
I'm okay.
This is,
Get the essence of what we're doing.
yes, so this is a board to consider authorizing a bond issuance relative to the elementary school project, the water main improvement project, and the industrial waste sewer project. So this is our first tranche of borrowing for the school, plus we're borrowing for the water main improvement project and industrial waste sewer pump project that were approved in last year's capital plan.
So moved.
So,
We're not having public comments at this time.
Just got concerns about the tannery contamination.
You can
So-
speak under public comments.
You're taking a vote on this right now for a bond issuance, Mr. West, and I think it's irresponsible to take that vote without hearing testimony as to what's going on out there.
Okay, we will take it into public comments. I know that there's been mentioned over the past about the potential that there may have been a tannery at the North Intermediate site, if that's what you're referring to.
I'm
And-
talking about the
and
tannery owner.
Excuse me, sir. And I believe that any testing that's going to be done in that area will, you know, if there's anything that's contaminated or something like that, they would,
deal with it as part of the project.
yeah.
Why would
So-
you go with a bond offering, right?
So,
And pay interest and
Mr.
fees and
Chair.
all of that without finding out that first, Mr. West? It
We're-
seems like massively irresponsible.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Of course you
So
would,
hold-
because you're on the committee, right? And you wouldn't have performed due
Mr.
diligence,
McDonald.
Mommy Meatball.
Thank you.
So, so again, I'm gonna apologize to everybody, but this is required by law for me to, for the vote to be in this particular fashion, which is, we hereby determine, in accordance with General Law, Chapter 70B, that the cost of the Wildwood Elementary School project authorized by vote of the town passed on September 13th, 2025, Article 2, being financed with proceeds of a portion of the notes defined below, together with all other bonds and notes of the town previously issued to pay costs of this project, does not exceed the portion of the total cost of the project that is not being paid by the school facilities grant, and we hereby approve the issuance of notes and bonds to finance this project under GL Chapter 70B. Further, voted to approve the sale of $37,700,000 at 4% general obligation bond anticipation notes, the notes of the town dated February 17th, 2026, and payable February 17th, 2027, to B of A Securities Incorporated at par and accrued interest, if any, plus a premium of $649,194. Further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the notes, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated January 27th, 2026, and a final official statement dated February 3rd, 2026, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the town treasurer and select board be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a significant events disclosure undertaking in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12 in such form as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the notes for the benefit of the holders of the notes from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosure procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the notes and to comply with the relevant securities laws. Further voted that any certificates or documents related to the notes, collectively the documents, may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original and all of which shall constitute one and the same document. Delivery of an executed counterpart of a signature page to a document by electronic mail in a PDF file or by other electronic transmission shall be as effective as delivered of a manually executed counterpart signature page to such document. And electronic signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purposes of the documents in all matters relative thereto having the same legal effect as original signatures. Further voted that each member of the select board, the town clerk, and the town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept.
Okay,
I'll second.
second. Any discussion? All in favor?
And the last, it's not a board to consider, it's an announcement from Select Board Member Maselli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Manager. Just to announce the appointment of Brian Kane to the Economic Development Committee. We're looking forward to having him on that committee. I think he's going to be a great addition, and he's really excited to join. And I believe that Mr. Gearworth gives full board.
There you go. Hopefully we'll see great things from Mr. Kane and the rest of your board. That's great.
Exactly.
Okay. Any public comments? If you could, if you state your name and address, and public comments are 5 minutes.
Suzanne Crooker, 135 Middlesex. I was here in the fall talking about, there was a Verizon hearing for light poles. And I know that you're seeing all the double poles now on the street. And I think there are signs appearing on all of these poles. I had nothing to do with those at this point. But they're saying, you know, send the information to the select board that these poles are there. So I spoke to Reading Light in the fall, after the meeting that was here, well, at the other school, and talked to them about how the poles need to come down. And what happens is that every service has to remove their lines in a certain order. So I spoke with Reading Light, who said, we've done all we can right now. We're waiting for others to finish their job. So I then called Verizon, who said, they're the last ones to come off the poles, which means there's still one left on the pole, which I think is probably the one that belongs to the town, the copper wire that ran from the fire department to the town hall, I'm not sure. But there are essentially still 2 services on the poles, and I wonder if there's some way that we can move this forward so that Reading Light can finally take down the secondary poles that are on. There are 5 of them here, there's the one in front of my house. Those are part of this construction project. The others, there's at least another one down the street on Middlesex, there's some all over town, you recognize all of them. So that's my question, and see how we can proceed.
That's something we can look into.
I can certainly look into it with our IT director about whether or not town fiber is on those poles.
Okay, and then, because once that last wire is moved, Verizon can then finally schedule, and then the town can, Verizon, Reading Light can take care of it. All right, thanks.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other public comments? Okay. Moving on to announcements. Any announcements?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Through you to the town manager, don't forget about the ARPA funds. I requested that a few meetings ago, just to give us an overview of what's been spent, what we have, what's remaining on that.
Absolutely.
I also want to thank Selectman Maselli for her comments on January 27th regarding my absence on that Tuesday. Tuesdays are very difficult. I cannot make those days. I was quite surprised when I received a phone call from our town manager on, I believe it was Thursday, that said that the chairman of the board and he have changed the meeting to Tuesday night. And that was it. I know that it was mentioned that supposedly I didn't give any alternatives, but I wasn't asked to give any alternatives. And what was most disheartening or disappointing was the fact that the chairman of the board said that he learned about it 5 minutes before the meeting began, and that he didn't receive a call from me. So why would he receive a call from me when he made a unilateral decision to change the meeting to Tuesday without any sort of courtesy of getting a hold of the board members through, they call them doodle polls, which we've done before, or phone calls going back and forth to find out when it's convenient for everybody to meet and to participate in one of the most important meetings of the year, which is the budget. So I am a little disappointed. It's hard for me to believe that the town manager and the chairman of the board didn't have a discussion to find out if all the board members were available before they made that decision, but I guess it was done. I can tell you, in the 10 years that I've been here, it's never been done that way. We've always showed courtesy to the other board members, and, you know, asked them their availability when a meeting would be changed. So I just want to let the public know that Tuesdays were difficult for me. I believe it was 2 or 3 meetings ago when Selectman Girwa proposed that we move our Monday meetings to Tuesdays, and one of the reasons why we didn't was because I have commitments on Tuesdays, and the chair indicated he had commitments on Tuesdays, so that's a little bit baffling that it was changed to a Tuesday. I did review the budget. I had several questions. I'm not gonna, we'll be here for a while if I start opening that up. I met with the town manager. We discussed it. He's gonna get back to me with a few issues on some of the discrepancies that I've noticed with what the heck?
The FTEs?
The full-time, part-time went from 319 to 328. It's a +6 on the part-time, a +2 on the seasonal. Just a bunch of, I watched the meeting, and there were some real good questions from my colleagues. Little disappointed that the budget went up so high, nearly 5% for the schools, nearly 3% for the town. I understand that it comes down to salaries in some respects, but I was really hoping that we would hold the line on some of those issues. One thing that I think we're on a slippery slope, and I mentioned this to the town manager, is when we use free cash for salaries, which was used for the school department. That's kind of an indicator to me that if we can't live within our budget and we have to go to free cash for salaries, I hate to use the word layoff, but that kind of is an indicator in the future that things like that may happen. So I don't agree with that policy of doing that. I noticed that some line items went up. The selectmen's line item went up 7,000, but that was because I guess there's gonna be printing issues, and in that regard, I was a little surprised it went up that much, because just to let the residents know, we do not make a salary. Let's see, what else do I have here? And I asked about cuts or level funding. I know that the budget from last year, it was mentioned that the reason why it was so high was because we had to do retroactive salaries from the temporary town manager who was here at the time. This year, it seemed to be almost verbatim that we had to do that increase because of salaries. I think the residents, you know, with the new assessment of $620 on the average home, another $400 coming up with the new school, assessments always go up, taxes always go up, but we need to show some restraint, some level funding somewhere in the future. I appreciate the you know, the presentation that you gave. I did like some of Jake's comments, and Ms. Maselli and Gary's comment. So overall, I wish it was a little tighter, but I guess it will take place at town meeting, and the people there will vote as to whether they want to continue the budget course that we're on. Thank you.
Okay, any other announcements?
It's kind of like I said, right? Like the operating budget's 6.5%. Like, it's not sustainable.
Right.
You're balancing it through free cash, which isn't really balancing it, right? You're not balancing it from operational income, but.
Any other comments from the board? I have a comment. In retrospect, let's see if I can say this right, in that Originally, I'll be honest with you, Kevin, let me just put it this way. I take full responsibility for the meeting on Tuesday. It snowed on Monday. Mr. Slagle called me up and said, hey, we're gonna cancel, I think Town Hall wasn't open, so he wanted to cancel the meeting and postpone it till the next day. We had talked about that, and again, I hate to say it slipped my mind, but quite honestly, it slipped my mind that and you kind of put it back to me when we had a little quiet chat, and when we set up the meeting for the Tuesday, I had asked Mr. Slagle, I said, he had mentioned that you weren't going to be there, and I said, well, is there any, did he mention a different date, or do we go with a different date, or how do we do that? And it's the way it was presented to me, and maybe I read it wrong, that you were okay with it, and again,
Worthy Chair, why would I mention a different date when it was said to me, this is the date we changed it to? There was no, or unless there's an alternative, or unless there's a thought, something different, or, it was a done deal. That was the date that was presented, and there was no wiggle room.
Okay, I wasn't party to that phone call, but you had spoken to the manager. The manager called each one of us to set up a date.
You are the chair of the board, right?
And again,
You do have communication with the town manager.
And again,
but it doesn't sound like it.
and again, I assume full responsibility, and I apologize. So I know it's after the fact, I apologize, and I'll also apologize to Ms. Maselli, because originally, and again, we all live busy lives, and when I got to the meeting on Tuesday, I said 5 minutes before the meeting, I said, geez, where's Kevin? And the manager said, oh, he's not gonna be here, and honestly, it didn't dawn on me that, but again, I assume full responsibility. I apologize to yourself, comments that I made to Ms. Maselli and to the board. So again, I think in the future, through the balance of my chairmanship, I'm going to make sure that if we call any special type of issue, I'll certainly make sure that all of us can make whatever the arrangements are, and if we can't, we'll just keep working a date till that we can all meet a date certain. So again, my apologies to you, Mr. Kyra, and to the board. So I don't know beyond that what to say, but I goofed. So, and if anybody wants to comment on that, I'm free to take comments from the board on that. Okay. That said, Mr. Manager, actually, is there any other new business from the board? Nope, okay.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, important dates, Mr. Manager.
Important dates. So, February 16th, next Monday, is President's Day. Town offices will be closed. Our next meeting is February 23rd, meeting of the Select Board, Town Hall here in this hearing room at 7:00 p.m. And then February 28th, that following Friday, will be the Finance Committee meeting at Town Hall here in the hearing room for the Wilmington Public Schools and Shawshene Vocational Technical High School hearing on their budgets.
Mr. Chair, through you, can I ask, have we gotten the Shawshene number yet?
Yes, we have, actually. It's only preliminary. So in our budget, we had conservatively forecasted a 5% increase for Shawshene Tech. So that was going to take it from 7.8 to about 8.2. Because of a reduction in the number of students year over year of 31, so 31 less Wilmington students are going to Shawshene, our budget actually dropped by 6.5%. So instead of 7.8, it'll go down to 7.3 million.
Great.
And
Surprised at that.
we discussed that with the Finance Committee, and so what we're going to be doing with that, it's about a $900,000 delta, is we're going to be accelerating the Wildwood demolition. It's currently scheduled for fiscal year 29. We're going to move that up to fiscal year 27. And we're going to partially fund that with the savings from the school budget.
The one comment on that is 31 kids are not going to be going to the tech next year, which means probably the bulk of them will be going to the high school. Maybe not
So
all
that's not next year, that's this year.
Well,
Those numbers are as of October 1st, 2025.
Okay, so they're already in the school system.
They're already in the school system. So so of those 31, well, I can't say of those 31. There's a 31 drop at the tech and a 16 student increase at the high school.
And that is just less people, less students applying?
No, it's
Or
less
we're
students
just-
being accepted. The
Okay,
real
driver.
driver for it is that historically, Bedford and Burlington did not use up their allotment of seats
Right,
at
we
the
would get
tech.
the
So,
extra.
and the extras would be divided among Billerica, Tewksbury, and us. Well, over the past couple of years,
going up.
Bedford and Burlington have started to use their allotment, which means there aren't any leftover seats to be doled out to those other. Next year, the tech will be going to a lottery system. And so Wilmington will be guaranteed 58 seats in that lottery.
Yeah.
But as long as, you know, and I think Burlington has 55 seats, but as long as Burlington gets 55 kids, there's not going to be any extra seats.
Right.
So historically, we had classes that were in the 80s.
Yeah.
So this year's class is around 60, next year's class is going to be 58. So we're going to have less, so we're likely to see a drop in students next year too, because I think there's a class of 80 that's graduating, and then a class of 58 will be coming in after.
So
in
we've
all
been
likelihood.
meeting our allotment, which is what I had expected, and we were getting extra.
Yes.
So why is our allotment going down?
Well, because your assessment is based on the
Oh,
total
on
number
the
of kids that you
students,
get.
yes, got it.
and
I see
so
what you're saying. Our Wilmington class is less.
Yeah, so
I understand.
we, instead of having 331
Yeah,
kids,
it's
we have
based on a
300
percentage.
kids.
I got it, okay.
Then that's a percentage of the total school.
Okay, got it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so it's likely to go through another drop next year, just kind of forecasting, looking at the number of kids that are in the senior class this year.
Right,
Which
yeah.
are, like I said, it's around 80.
Yeah.
And since we know that the lottery's gonna go in place, we know that Wilmington has 58 seats. In
Yeah.
all likelihood, unless something radically changes in one of the other towns, we're not gonna get significantly more than 58 kids
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
tech.
yeah.
So that means it would be another drop. Now, I can't promise it would be another drop in our assessment, because
No,
last year we
no,
had a drop
no.
too of 16 kids. Our assessment still went up,
Yeah.
almost 5%, because it's all based on that tech budget and their capital budget,
Yeah.
so.
I know, it's a tough nut, because it's like, you never want to deny any kid going there, you know what I mean? They should have that choice, but that's unfortunately above our
Yeah.
pay grade, so to speak.
They made those decisions, and so.
Yeah.
And that, I believe that, that was all of our important dates. Mr. Manager.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, we have our salute to service. Salute to service is to Sergeant Louis Cimaglia IV. Not sure if anybody in this room knows him or not.
No idea.
Lou just retired as our Veterans Director, and, they had a nice little ceremony here on Friday
Yes.
to celebrate his retirement. I gave the first select board coin to him on honor of his retirement. But anyhow, on his salute to service, it's Sergeant Louis Cimaglia IV, born October 5th, 1962, served with the 101st Engineer Company and was activated on December 6th, 1990 during Operation Desert Shield, and went into Operation Desert Storm, where he was awarded the Bronze Star Medal. He was deactivated from active duty on October 1st, 1991 at Fort Devens, Mass., and returned to the 101st Engineer Company. During his service, he was also awarded the Army Service Ribbon, National Defense Service Medal, Southwest Asia Service Medal with 2 Device Service Stars, Army Reserve Components Overseas Training Ribbon, Army Reserve Achievement Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Expert Marksmanship Badge. Lou returned to Wilmington with his wife Marion and son Louis V, and they would later welcome Nick and Brittany. Lou has been involved with serving the town of Wilmington in different capacities for years. He coached children's sports teams, served as a selectman for 9 years, director of Veteran Services for 20 years, as temporary town manager for 7 months and 10 days. He founded Local Heroes, which sent thousands of care packages to service members overseas. Lou is also a past Grand Knight of the Knights of Columbus. Friday, February 6th was Lou's last day as Director of Veteran Services. We thank him for his service and wish him a peaceful retirement. Any comments on that?
Congratulations, Lou. You deserve all the glamour you can get.
Agreed.
Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.